Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Becky. You can find me on the internet as @BeccyKnits or Becky Mundy on Ravelry. If this is your first time watching, then thank you for joining me. And if you've been here for a while, then thank you for coming back and watching my video again. It's been like a couple of weeks since I last recorded. I have been knitting slowly on a few different things, but I have had lots of other things to do as well. So I think, was it last week? Yeah, last week. Oh, I'll talk about live stuff at the end. Let's talk about live stuff at the end. This is my podcast. If this is the first time you're watching, this is my podcast where I talk about knitting and sewing and anything crafty that I am doing. And this week I'm also going to talk a little bit about a couple of books that I have read. And if you can hear random scratching and scrabbling, it's because something is reflecting some sunlight onto this chest of drawers that I sit next to, and my cat wants it. So that's what it is. It's her scratching at the chest of drawers. I have coffee this week instead of tea, and I feel like maybe that says something about how my week has been so far, and this morning particularly. We can talk about it in live stuff. Let's get into some knitting content, shall we? So the first thing that I will show you today is in my pumpkins project bag from the Woolly Tangle. I got this a couple of years ago, year before last, when we were on holiday in Wales. Got it from a really excellent shop in Llandudno, so I will put the link to that shop down below if it still exists, which I really hope it does, because it was an excellent shop. In this bag is a pair of socks that I have been working on for what feels like forever, but I am now into them, so hopefully they will actually get finished soon. These are my Stranger Halloween, I think it's called. Let me see. A Stranger Halloween, I was right, from Bumbling Yarns, who is now the Lonely Knitter Yarns, or the Lonely Knitter. She's like just gone for the Lonely Knitter for her yarn as well. So this was her Stranger Things colourway last year before. Must be the year before, I think. I have been hoarding it like I do most of my yarn. So it is a lovely black and grey and very dark purples and very kind of blood reds. I really love the red. It is very, I don't know, I can't show you, it's not showing up, but yeah, I mean, I really like the richness of the red in this. So I have just done, I'm working the String of Lights pattern, and I don't always do because I do a fish lips kiss heel on my socks, so I sometimes, if I'm doing a patterned sock or textured sock, I'll do like just some plain knitting before I start the heel. So I do like 10 rounds of plain knitting on the side that I'm going to do my heel on, just so that you don't have like the textured stitches rubbing on your heel. And I do it sometimes, and sometimes I don't, and I actually don't find there to be a real comfort difference for me. Maybe if it was like a really heavily textured sock or like cables or something, then I would probably do it for sure. But yeah, with this one I have made a String of Lights without doing that little plain bit, and they're not uncomfortable at all, so there we go. But yeah, so these are now nice and long. I think probably the leg is a little bit longer than I would normally do, but I took these with me when I had my market at the weekend. If you saw my last episode, you'll know that I was prepping for my first art market, and it went really well. I took these with me thinking that I was much less far through than I was, and so I ended up just adding an extra 10 rounds and therefore deciding to do the plain bit because I needed to knit and I had nothing else to work on. So there we go. And this little stitch marker progress keeper thing is one that I made last year because I cast these on when the most recent season of Stranger Things started, so I wanted to have a little Eggo waffle progress keeper, so I made myself one. So there we go. So that's those. It is the first sock still, so yeah, but hopefully if I can get some time, maybe even today, who knows, I might get into the foot and the end of the first sock will be in sight, and then I have to convince myself to cast on the second sock. So we'll see how that goes. The other thing I have worked on since last we spoke is this pair of socks, which is a pattern that I'm kind of working on the fly, little sort of lightly textured. This one I did decide I was going to need the probably going to need the plain bit, just because there's so much texture. I thought it might be uncomfortable, but we'll see. So yeah, I'm on to about to start the heel on that. That's why these ones are both stalled, because even though I find it much easier to knit the fish lips kiss heel whilst I'm doing other things, if it's like too dark or if I'm watching something and I want to actually pay attention, then I can't do the heel at the same time. But I mean, I can do it in the car, I can do it if I'm just watching something trashy on TV, it's fine. But yeah, if I'm like invested in something, then I can't do the heel and do something else at the same time. So my plan might be to try and work the heels of both of these today, and then I know that I've got 2 socks on the go which I can work out and about. So maybe that's my little plan for today. So that's the yarn for this one is Tropical Fish from Skein and the Stitch. So there we go. I don't know if it's one that she does anymore, but she might do it as a, I don't know, I think Jess does like requests, custom orders, so you might be able to get it as a custom order. But I really love it. It's going to be so perfect for like spring, which I feel like I need spring to come because I'm sick of the cold, unless it's going to snow, in which case let's keep it with winter for now. But yeah, and that's in my little sort of fairies bag, which I made. And then last thing that I'm going to show you, because I think I have made some progress since the last time. Yeah, I've added a couple more colours since the last time we spoke, and that is my Habitation Throw. Still, I've not made loads of progress, so that's where I was last time we spoke. I think I just added this is Wood Pigeon from West Yorkshire Spinners. I think I just added that. And then these two that I have been working on are both mini skeins from a homespun house. I think they were some Patreon minis that I ended up getting in like a sort of you bought something else, and so I'm going to throw in a couple of skeins of something like small. So yeah, that's what I've got so far. These are the other 2 skeins, I think, from the same set that this one came in. So these 3 came together, and they're an old mini, so you're no spoilers there for those. So got those, and then yeah, I'm now at the point where I need to do the this row with the yarn overs, so then that's what I need to do next, and then I need to decide what yarn I'm going to add in next. So I don't know, got choices, lots of choices, but I haven't decided which one it's going to be. It might be, I don't know, we'll see. Oh, here's the ball band for that one. Oh, so these three that were from the mini skein set Patreon minis, it was September minis from last year or possibly the year before, probably the year before actually, and it's butter pecan, apple crisp and wild oat, or what they were called, so I'm glad I kept that. So there we go, so that's what I've been working on. Yeah, so my plan for the day, like I say, is to do the heels on these two socks, and then I've got another pair of socks which I will show you that I've been working on a little bit as well. Living in another bag that I made myself, my Space Cats bag, and this is the sock that's in here. This is my bookshelves pattern that I'm still working away on. I feel like if I put some effort into this one today, then it could be finished. So I might have a sock day. So do my heels on those and then try and get through the foot of this, and then I can add my final mini for the toe. This is the Flash Dance sock set from a Homespun House. So there we go. Oh, what have I got in here? Oh, a little felt heart. How very sweet. Okay, so so those are in there, and then I can actually take some proper pictures of this pattern and make the adjustments that I need to make in the pattern, and then it might actually be time for it to go out. So who knows, maybe by the end of the month, what's the date today? Maybe by the end of the month I might actually finally release my bookshelves pattern / ask for some test knitters, but we'll see. No promises. I think I said that for September. Oh hey, I'll release a pattern for 6 o'clock September 2028 I meant. So that is it for things I have been working on. Yeah, I don't think I've added any more squares to my Cozy Memories blanket. So yeah, but hopefully by next time I will have a couple of finished objects to show you. I got mail, yarn mail, and so I have never like actually genuinely ordered something and then completely forgotten about it. I have had a couple of occasions when it's like I've been surprised when something has arrived because it was like a pre-order or something like that, and so it arrived and it was like, oh, I wasn't expecting this, so like forgotten but not forgotten. You know, when it arrives in the post, you're like, oh yeah, I know what this is going to be. I remember now. But I did order from Game of Crafting and completely forgot that it was good, that I'd ordered it. So it arrived, 2 parcels arrived today from Game of Crafting, and I was like, well, I know what this one is, but I have no memory of what this one is. And then I'm trying to like force myself to remember what it was. Rustling. So I open it and I like look at the packing slip, you know, like, please tell me what I've ordered. And I ordered one of their yarn loot mystery yarn grab bag things. So then I was like, oh yeah, I do vaguely remember ordering that. So oops. But here we go. two things. I'll show you this one first because this one is a club, so I can give you warning for looking away if you've not had it. But this is my grab bag, my mystery bag. I can't remember what the like sort of possibilities of what you might get were, but I feel like I was a lucky one because I got 200 grams of DK weight yarn, and they are really pretty. I really like them, and they're kind of like not the kind of thing that I would naturally pick for myself. I would not be like, oh yeah, I'll buy those ones, but like now that I have received them, I'm like, oh yeah, they look really nice together. The sun is not my friend today. They look really pretty together, so I'm really pleased. This is 100% Blue Face Leicester, and it's Green Feast, and there's 226 meters. And then this one is Ravenna, I'm gonna say, and it is a 70/20/10 merino nylon cashmere. So I initially was like, oh, I could make myself some socks with this, but I think I'm gonna make something together with both of these. As soon as my eldest saw it, he said, can you make another blanket for my doll? And I'm afraid I said no, because I was like, I'm not making your doll a blanket out of this. So if you have any sort of ideas of what I could make with it, I'm kind of like, I could make a hat maybe, or maybe some mittens. Mittens might be quite nice. My other thought was I could do, last year or the year before, I made both of my children like little pixie hats, and the youngest has grown out of his and so has kind of inherited my eldest's. But I thought maybe I could make them new pixie hats. So there's some options. But yeah, I'm really pleased that it's DK because I don't have a lot of hand-dyed DK in my stash. So this will be really nice to be able to draw upon. So yeah, super pleased with those. And then the other thing that came is what's it called? It's the Blanket Club. What's the actual name? Video Game Landscapes Club. So if you are doing the Game of Crafting Blanket Club and you have not received your yarn yet, then look away now. I am doing the 4-ply sock 40 gram one. I think the colourways were going to be the same no matter which option you chose, but so I would say look away regardless of which one you're getting. But yeah, this is if you're interested, I am getting the 40 gram 4-ply sock. So you get 2 skeins. Sorry, my throat's really dry. Yeah, no matter which option you go for, I think you get 2 skeins, so that over the year you get 24. And the idea is to make a blanket, and I have no idea what blanket I'm going to make, but yeah, so anyway, here's the colourway. So if you're getting the blanket, look away now. They are so pretty. And these are Pong, which is this one, and Space Invaders. So yes, I didn't play Pong, but I mean I have played Pong, but I didn't play it when I was young, but I did play Space Invaders when I was young. So yes, I'm really excited for this club. So I'd said to myself at the beginning of the year that I really wanted to get a club, and I hadn't decided which one I was gonna go for. I was like torn between, oh, I'll just like follow along with the club and I'll just get whichever months I like the look of, or like the sound of. And then this one came up and I was like, nope, I need to get the blanket club. You can look back now if you're waiting to see what your club looks like. I have put it away. So those are my yarn acquisitions and I'm very pleased with them. I have, what have I got coming in the post? I've got 2 more, I've got an order from a homespun house coming with a mini set, and then I guess towards the end of the month I will get my Patreon minis as well from homespun house. But now that I'm like getting the other blanket club, I'm like, well, maybe I'll stop the Patreon minis. I don't know, I haven't decided yet. But that's it. That is all of the yarny content for this episode. I'm going to talk a little bit about books and then I'll talk a bit about life stuff. So if you're not interested in books or my life, I totally understand. And thank you very much for watching. But if you would like to stick around, then let's get into a bit of book chat. I've finished 2 books so far this month. And so far this year. I have had a bit of a slow start to reading. Last year ended quite well. I think I got like 2 or 3 books finished just in December. I think I managed to just scrape by to my original Goodreads goal of 25 books. So I was pleased with that. I was really pleased with that. So yeah, so the ones I read, I will mention the ones I read at the end of last year, which I really liked. And it was The Family Upstairs and The Family Returns. I think it's called The Family Returns. They were really, really good. They were like, can't put this down. I think the first one, I stayed up until midnight or so reading it. And I've not done that in a long time, like stayed up reading a book. So yeah, that was really good. And I've got another book by her, so I can tell you what she's called. So the author is called Lisa Jewell, and then my mother-in-law has lent me this book, which is another by her, which I will read, but at the moment I'm mostly reading on my Kindle, or at very least my Kindle app. I have got a Kindle somewhere. It's an old Kindle. But yeah, mostly I read on my phone or on my iPad because I can read while I'm like getting my youngest to sleep, or I can read like, because my youngest still comes into our bed at some point during the night, which for now we're okay with for various reasons, but we're hoping that when we get a couple of answers about some like medical stuff that might be going on for him, once we've got answers about that, we would quite like him to go back into his own bed and stay there. But anyway, yeah, so I can like read like under my duvet with my phone, so which you can't do with the Kindle because I've not got a backlit one. But yeah, so physical books, I just don't feel like I don't often get like huge chunks of time where I can sit down with a physical book, and I feel like sometimes if I'm sitting on the sofa and the children are watching something, then I can read on my phone. But sometimes if I get a book out, then they're like, read me your book, I want to sit on your knee and I can read me your book, which is not always A, what you want, or B, ideal. So yeah, but I can recommend those 2, The Family Upstairs and The Family Returns. They were excellent books. So far this year I have read Misery by Stephen King. I really, really want to read more Stephen King. I read Carrie last year and really enjoyed it, and then I started Misery and it took me a little while to get into it. I was a bit on and off with it to start with, and I think that sort of impacted my ability to to get into it. But I, like, just as I was about to hit the sort of halfway, 40%, 50% mark, I got to the scene and then I just couldn't put it down. So yeah, it'd taken me like 3 or 4 months to get to the sort of 40% mark, and then 2 days to finish it. It was really good. I really enjoyed it, and the beginning wasn't bad, you know. I wasn't like uninterested in the story, but there was bits of it that were like difficult to read. It's definitely like major trigger warnings for like gore and like psychological torment and torture, you know. Definitely check your trigger warnings for this book. But yeah, some of the things like the psychological elements of it I found difficult to read. So, but once I kind of got into the flow of it, I mean, yeah, there were times when you're kind of like, if it was a film, you would like cover your eyes, and I definitely like was reading it and like was closing my eyes at moments, because it was just like, I just don't want to look at the words anymore. Obviously you can't, like, I mean, you could skip sections, but it would be a shame to do that. So yeah, but it was a really good book. Really enjoyed it. But yeah, definitely check your trigger warnings on that one. It's not scary like I mean, I don't really read horror books. I'm trying to think of a scary book that I read. The scariest book that I've read was Metro 2033, and I listened to that, which I think added to the scary. But it's not horror in the same way as something like that, but it is scary. But yeah, not like I don't know, I can't think of another scary book. But yeah, so it's not sort of classic horror like jump scares kind of thing, but it is definitely like horror elements. But yeah, can definitely recommend, if you have read other Stephen King things and you like his writing, then I would recommend Misery. If you haven't read any Stephen King but you're interested in trying something out, I would say Misery is quite a good one for that. I mean, I've only read 2, but I found Carrie a little bit, I think, well, it was his first book, and I feel like it was maybe, like, having now read his first book and then a more recent book, it's not more recent, but like one where he's a bit more established, I feel like there's definitely you can tell a difference in his writing style has, you know, what's the word, developed. So yeah, but yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into more of his work. I think I've got Salem's Lot on my Kindle, and I've got a physical copy as well. So there we go. So that was the first thing that I finished this year. And then the second thing I finished was something that I just picked up randomly in the library when I went in with my youngest yesterday, and that's Pumpkinheads by Rainbow Rowell. And I really like a graphic novel. The artwork in this is beautiful. Let me just find a page. Like, all of the chapters have got these like, oh yeah, I mean, I love this one. His face is just brilliant. But yeah, I mean, there's a map. Who doesn't love a map? It's, yeah. I really enjoyed this. It was really good fun. It was really sweet. It was, you know, yeah, it was a nice little kind of adventure, and I just read it in like an hour, maybe 2 hours. No, it was probably an hour. I just read it while I was making tea. Just sort of like you know, it was like I put things in the oven kind of tea and like stand and watch it, and the kids were watching, you know, Bluey or something, and I was just reading, and it was really nice. But yeah, so this was, I would recommend this if you just want something cute and lovely, and yeah, it was very, very nice. But yeah, I saw that Lindsay of Sock Witchery is doing like a sort of like no buy February, so with books, and I was like, actually, yeah, that's probably a good idea. I've got a lot of books that I really want to get around to that I haven't started, haven't, you know, looked at yet. Maybe I should do that and try and read through a bit of my TBR. And particularly given that I read most of the stuff on Kindle, there is no need for me to go into Waterstones and come away with arms full of books. So yeah, so that's the booky stuff, which just leaves live stuff. So that was cold. Luckily cold coffee is miles better than cold tea. So life stuff, I'm trying to remember what was going on last time we spoke. I can't remember. Did I talk about Aiden's eyes? Was Aiden, did Aiden have eye stuff going on? I don't know if his eyes had started yet. Rory's had definitely been, he'd had conjunctivitis, and that cleared up like with no issue. But then Aiden got it, and it was much worse for him. Like it stuck around. Rory's like, even though Rory's looked worse, somebody is like blowing leaves or something, mowing their lawn, so apologies for that. But yeah, Rory's cleared up with no need for like eye drops or anything like that, even though it was like, it looked much worse. Like his, like the front of his face basically like swelled up like flat, so like his eyes were no longer like slightly set back, they were just like flat against his face. So it looked pretty dramatic, but then he woke up one morning and it was just gone, so that was fine. But then yeah, Aiden got it, and it lingered, and then he like rubbed his eye, and it like the white of his eye just like filled red, which was like terrifying to see. So this was last week. Was it last week? Yeah, it must have been last week. So Monday and Tuesday he was off school because he had to have eye drops every 2 hours, and the school can't do it. So so he couldn't go into school, and then Wednesday there was a teacher strike, so he wasn't in Wednesday either, and then he was off, and then he was in Thursday and Friday, and I just had to go into school to give him his eye drops. So it was a little bit like chaotic because I was prepping for a market over the weekend, so it was like yeah, I had to work on the Wednesday to get things packaged and things like that. Yeah, I felt a bit bad, but it had to be done, and then I managed to get everything done on the Wednesday, so that was fine. But yeah, it was just a bit chaotic, and then his eye just didn't seem to improve. So then on like, I can't remember what day it was, Thursday, Friday I think it may have been, it started to come back, it started to look worse, and I was like, well, he needs to go to the doctor. So, but they said it was fine, he just had some like ointment, and now it's better. There we go. The market went really well, I was really pleased. Yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about that. There was not really much to tell. It was the first time that I had done a market with my artwork, but it's not the first time I've done a market. I also have a business making children's clothes, and so I've done some craft markets before. So yeah, there was definitely like nerves because I was selling something that I hadn't sold before. I wasn't really worried about knowing what to do or like, or what if I don't have enough change or anything like that, because I'm kind of used to that. But yeah, it definitely felt different selling artwork to selling children's clothes. I was a lot more protective of it. So yeah, but it went really well. The response was really positive. And yeah, I then went on and I've now applied for a couple of other fairs, and I've applied for an exhibition, a couple of pieces for an exhibition, which I should hopefully hear about today. So there we go. I can check if I've heard anything, maybe. And you can find out with me in real time whether or not I've got an Etsy shop. No, I've not heard anything yet. I'm going to open up an Etsy shop with a couple of the bits, because otherwise they just sit around in the house and I don't know when my next market's going to be. So yeah, I'm going to pop some bits into an Etsy shop, which I might leave a link to down below, or maybe next video because it's not open yet, so we'll see. But yeah, there we go. That's my week of yarn and books and eyes and stuff. And that's it. So hopefully I will have some things to show you next week. If not, I'll probably see you in about 2 weeks' time. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!